Where's your hair? I thought you were getting red hair.
So we go
Okay,
and
so there's a story. All right,
oh,
tea time with Laura.
yeah. So she ordered, well, initially she showed me the swatches that Bellamy has for their hair color and whatever.
Okay.
Of course, the swatch that I picked looked nothing like the hair that we received. It was like almost
Boo.
as dark as your hair, but red to it. And I was like, ain't no way. I am not meant to have like that dark of hair.
Yeah.
So we sent them back to get a different shade that's hopefully the right one, but I was not saying fuck it, do it anyways, because it was
Yeah.
definitely not the right
I'm
one.
sorry. Were you disappointed?
Yeah, but I mean, you know what's funny is literally the day before, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna order some cheapies on Amazon just in case something doesn't go right, because like
Hmm.
mine needed to be changed out anyways. Sure enough, I got two packages from Amazon. It was only $60, and they're like the best blonde ones I've ever had. So
Wow.
let's hear about
Hair
the
does
big,
look good though. I love
the
your
new
hair.
wheels. Tell us about all about it.
Oh yeah, it was super cool. It's a GMC Sierra
Hmm.
and it's like all black, got a really nice interior. Like I am tickled. I'm thrilled. It is one of my dream
Are you
trucks.
looking for a car?
I mean, it's my dream truck. Like I just bought my dream truck. That's all it is.
Hmm, great.
So paid that off, paid off my student loans, and so I've accomplished all I've wanted to accomplish. All I wanted when I was 18, I was like, I want titties, I want a truck, and I want to pay off my school. And I did
Love
that.
it.
So I'm happy. I can die now, tomorrow, and I will be happy.
All right, let's not get too carried away.
I said I could die happy, and not that I want to die happy.
Too funny. Meg is here in spirit. She's not feeling so hot. Did she say she doesn't have Wi-Fi still? Is this from like hurricane shit?
I do not know. I know she was at a rave festival and she got sick. So
And everybody's all up on everybody.
I
Like,
don't
that's
know.
it.
I don't know.
So I stay away from everybody.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't. No, I actually do. Um,
Literally same.
Yeah, I'm having people over for dinner and stuff, so I'm really excited. And also, what's your plans for Charleston? Like, are you able to come over for dinner at all? I know, like, I don't want to like steal you from Josh's family, but if we could see each other, I'd love to see you.
I would love to see you. Probably we're not renting a car, so I'm not really gonna be going very far.
But you're close to
Um,
downtown. We can come to you. Like, if that's,
yeah, that's what kind of what I was thinking. Like if you wanted to, well, we're literally only there. So we get there, I think it's like 10 o'clock Sunday morning, and then we have all day Sunday, all day Monday, and then leave Tuesday. So
and that's to the 24th and 25th, correct?
yes, and we leave the 26th. Um, I can kind of come and go as I please. He'll be with his family most likely. I'd love to see you. I'd love to, even if we, I don't care what we do, go and get caught, whatever it is. I want to meet in real life.
Yeah, let's do coffee. Let's do coffee because that would be more IRL stuff. And you are downtown, right? Ish.
I think so. I'll get the exact location and all that from him.
Okay.
I think it's a Hyatt. Pretty sure that's what I had told you. The Hyatt House or something like that. And
Hmm.
we were looking, same thing. We were like, kind of look. Your gym is not close to where we are, is it?
No, it's more close to my house. So if you're downtown, it's not going to be close to you. And like, no offense, I don't want to train with you. It's not that I don't want to train with you, but like, this
No,
is the
that's not.
first time meeting you. You know what I'm
I
saying? I
know.
actually want to meet you and pick you up and like, I want to show you around town. I want to like do all
That'd be fun. Yeah.
the
Well, no, I'm
touristy
honestly
shit.
more so asking because the two of us want to train, especially
Yeah,
Sunday because we can't check in right away by the time because we're going to be getting there, like
yeah,
actually at the hotel by like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. So we usually train together. That's
yeah.
our one day on Sundays. So we want somewhere that like has a decent setup for legs, but what we were kind of searching was it was saying crunch. And I'm like, ain't no way.
There's not a crunch by you that I'm aware of, but I don't know. Send me the address and I'll figure it out.
Okay, will do.
So tell me about the topic that you want to talk about today.
So actually, a client brought this up too, and then I've been seeing it myself a lot as
Yeah.
well. Just like social media reality and how
Hmm.
there's only so much that you see, but then also so much that is not real and edited or
Mhm.
fabricated or whatever the case may be. And I think that a lot of people get hung up on that. And I can't tell you how many times, especially even in my intake information when I'm taking on a new client, can you send me a photo of like what your goal physique looks like? And it's usually something that's like so far-fetched and like a
Yeah.
BBL or whatever the case may be. And it's just, it almost like, it makes me sad to see because like people give these crazy expectations of themselves and then feel down about not being able to achieve them. And that's why, like, I mean, the three of us are very open and honest and like constantly pressing on like the habits that we do. And like, none of us are at the goals that we want to be at, but
Yeah.
like, we're working towards it every day. And I just think that people are so naive to reality when it comes to these type of things, and they don't give themselves a realistic goal or timeline to get to said goal either. And then a lot of the times, if they knew what they had to do, whether it's PEDs or,
Yes.
dieting or things like that, and like, they're not going to want to do them.
Yeah. I was joking with you off air. I was like, why is it? Because I bought my dream truck. And you're like, oh, about realities of social media. But like, it is so important to realize it's like social media is in some ways fake because yes, you can edit photos. You can, wear the butt pads. You can get a BBL. You can do like even like you can get like stuff done and you don't have to be honest about it, right? But it's like you at the end of the day you have to focus on living your life. And I don't like the what do you want to look like photos because again, if you compare yourself to others, you're gonna fall short every single time. But it's
Mhm.
like, what do you want to focus on? It's like, oh, I want to bring up my glutes. We can do that. We can set up a program for you to bring up your glutes. But at the same time, like the rate of growth depends upon your genetics, your work ethic,
Literally
and
everything.
literally everything, right? But it's like it is so exhausting to constantly compare yourself to another. And it is just wasted energy and
For
wasted
sure.
time that you're never going to get back.
I like the photo, and like obviously everybody is different with their thoughts and feelings and whatnot. I like the photos because it gives me an early on opening to a conversation of what is realistic for this person, and maybe it's great what they're thinking, like just to have like a visual from my end.
Mm-hmm.
But also like I had a girl the other day who she's 21, she's in college, and I asked her what her ideal physique was, and she said, what's her face that was just Miss Olympia. Not this year, the year before. And I'm like,
Shit
douche.
dog, me too.
This is not realistic. First of all, she's a genetic outlier. Second off, like like lifestyle is not like all she does is eat, sleep, and breathe bodybuilding. Like you're in college. That's
Hmm.
not realistic. So just to be able to have an honest conversation with people, I think it's good because then it gives them, realistic goals to set. And that's kind of why I like that
Was it
intake.
wellness or bikini?
Bikini. Even then, Jennifer Dory was
Jen
her.
Dory, yeah, okay.
I'm like, she's like the epitome of physiques for bikini.
I was like,
Like,
I want everything about you. I want her hair, I want her
yeah,
body, like I want her
yeah,
sponsorships. Like,
yeah, yeah, yep, check, 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 check.
Jesus. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting better for yourself, right? That's the whole point of bodybuilding goals, life goals, whatever. But like, again, it needs to be based in reality. So it's like, are you being realistic with the goals that you're having? Thank you, having set for yourself. And it's like, there's nothing, again, I don't think there's anything wrong with having like big, scary goals. Like, we have big, scary physique goals, big, scary bodybuilding goals, big, scary wealth goals like Eric and I. But like at the end of the day, you're it's such a fine line between like goals enough that make you scared, that motivate you, that drive you versus okay, owning a $10 million mansion. I don't think that's realistic for Eric and I. Right? Like, and honestly, at the end of the day, like 10 million in Charleston ain't gonna get you shit versus 10 million in Kentucky. Like, okay, yeehaw, let's own a fucking barn. You know what I'm saying? But like at the end of the day, what truly is gonna make you happy? And that's what you have to answer, in my opinion.
Totally. Wow, you really do go heavy with that stuff. She's going in over
Dude, I
there.
already salted this too, and this was not enough salt. So like I swear to God, I have an adrenal issue, even though every time I look at my cortisol, it's fine. But I'm a salty bitch. So hashtag
I
salt.
like salt too. I like salt too. I think the funny one, like I actually liked your reaction when I mentioned the fact of PEDs that they're not going to want to use. And that doesn't even go for just as a lifestyle athlete.
Mhm,
I think that especially for female, we're speaking specific to female
mhm.
competitors that will come into this and be like, well, no, I only want to take antibiotics and oral, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, then you're going to shoot your hormones into the ground because you're not supporting yourself by having some testosterone in there, at least HRT levels. And there's safer routes that are less likely to viralize. And then you talk about the whole, that does require injections. And I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. And realistically, not everybody even has positive reactions to either of those. So like it really depends on the person, but like sometimes they don't even want to try.
I mean, you have to like that's the thing is you have to be willing to try, right? And like I know there's something to be said about like doing a safer PED approach when it comes to like okay, using TRT first and then doing growth hormone and then if you want to use like L-carnitine and then like insulin and all that stuff and I'm not bashing that at all because like that is an approach I firmly believe in, but like if you got goals to be a big bitch in a bigger division or whatever else, like you want to do things as safely as possible, absolutely. But you also, at the end of the day, have to assume the risks too. And so, like, I'm using a cycle right now with a girl that's wanting to be WPD, and we are doing a shorter cycle that is, she has her TRT in place still, yes, but we are using Anavar and Trinable, right? And there's a great research, great data for like the 1 plus 1 is 3 for these two compounds, right? And that's something that I learned from Evil GSP. But because it's oral, we're not running a fucking 16-week cycle. It's going to be 6 to 8, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of the dosage, but shorter duration. And where again, she knows about viralization. We have the things in check to where if things start to go south, great thing is they're orals, we can pull them real quick. But again, she's wanting to grow muscle. She's wanting to do WPD. She's also, with the time schedule we have in place, we are doing a shorter cycle because she has things coming up where we can't do a longer Primobolan cycle. So it's again, as her coach, it's like I have to look at what's going on with her and her life and like what are her long-term goals. And then once things settle down for her, she comes back or whatever, then we'll do a longer cycle with Primo. But it's like again, it's thinking outside the box what the athlete needs and what the athlete's willing to do and what the athlete's goals are. And so if you only want to take vitamin Anavar, fine. But again, you have to be realistic with what is Anavar actually going to do for you? Is it going to be enough? And do you have the health supplements? Because it is an oral, so there likely are a little bit more risk. It's just, again, there's so many things to consider than I just want to do bodybuilding because it's what's in vogue right now. You know what I'm saying?
I want to start having that conversation with people when they say that they want to go the enhanced route and being like, okay, well, can you put aside $1,200 and tell me that if push comes to shove, if you need to take your blood work the next every 3 months for the next year, you can afford to do so just for blood work. I'm not talking about anything else. I'm not talking about supplements. I'm not talking about, needles and actual PDs and alcohol swabs and all that bullshit. Just for blood work, can you put that aside? If not, don't even talk to me about this. Over it.
I wish, I mean, I don't wish this because I learned a lot, but I wish I had someone to just slap me 5 years ago because I just wanted to use steroids because I was so narrow-minded and small-minded because I just wanted to be a professional athlete. And I knew that professionals took drugs. And while that wasn't naive of me to think that, it was naive of me to think that I was ready. You know what I'm saying?
For
Like,
sure. That's probably the one thing that I did well, and I haven't really talked about this too much, but like I was very against taking anything for a very long time. I did not want to. I've always been
Laura, you
very,
did a great job. You did a
I
great job at it.
I've always been very concerned with fertility. I've been always concerned with not wanting to viralize, and like I'm that person that like was always afraid that, I didn't want people to think differently about me if I were to go
Mhm.
that route. And it wasn't until I had to use TRT that then I was kind of like, well, I've seen this positively affect me in a very minimal dose. Can I carry that over to an enhancements approach and
Mhm.
have a positive experience? And well, fuck me, because no, because literally almost everything does not work with my body. So hopefully this doesn't happen to everybody else, but and not from like a viralization stance, just from an autoimmune flaring stance. Like
Yeah.
literally everything sets my immune system off. But I'm grateful for the fact that I was afraid for so long because I didn't touch anything until I was 35. And I've been bodybuilding and competing for 10 years prior to that, forever considering touching anything.
Absolutely. So you have like two very different like kind of approaches, and like I would say Laura did it the right way because she focused on doing things like with her nutrition and her training first before like dabbling, versus me. I like legit fucked up everything. I legit fucked up everything. I was so balls deep in my eating disorder. I was vegan. I was Gyms were shut down with COVID, and I was like, let's do Anavar.
Home
Like,
workouts.
like at home workouts. And granted, like I didn't even have like fucking adjustable weights. A,
Amazing.
I had a goddamn trampoline in my apartment.
Oh,
I had like
that's
legit.
just curling water bottles.
I legit, dude, I was deadlifting them. Like, you know, the hurricane jugs, the hurricane water bottles, like the big ones. I was deadlifting and squatting those with bamboo.
So, I mean, I was with bamboo. Wow, that's aggressive. I was actually using Versa grips. You know the big Poland Spring water bottles to reef like the big ones. I think they're
Mhm.
like 45, 46 pounds, something like that. They mistakenly got delivered to my house. And then I was
That
like,
was
well,
divine intervention, bitch. God was like, I'm gonna
okay.
bless you.
That was before we had anything other than dumbbells. I'm like, well, here we go. Here's my deadlifts. I'm gonna squat with them. I'm gonna do walking lunges. Like these things are massive.
Dude, and I just remember like again being so balls deep also with exercise addiction that like because things were shut down, I didn't have like a treadmill at the time and the apartment gyms were also closed. So Charleston was dead downtown. And so what I would do is I would be running in empty parking garages,
Oh
just
wow.
running up, running down, doing stairs, getting 10,000 steps before 8 a.m.
That's funny. You know,
while running in a bar.
I had another weird one, like literally, I think it was the last time I got my nails done before everything shut down. Like they had given warnings that everything was going to be shutting down the following day or whatever it was. And I had mentioned to my nail lady that I was stressed about the fact that gyms would be closing and I don't have any ability to do cardio and things like that. And she's like, I have a treadmill I haven't used in years. You can have it. So
Oh, bless her.
she just gave it to me and I gave her like $100 tip because I was so happy and so excited that I was going to have something to use.
Mhm.
And I used that little fucker for my entire prep that I did all through
Mhm.
the year of 2020 that never got on stage until December. But
Yeah.
without her,
I I will say something about COVID though. It showed a lot of people what they were willing to do for activity. And even though it was not ideal to do water bottles and bamboo or to pay $100 for a nail lady to give you a treadmill, people got so creative with how they needed to move their body. And while
or didn't. And then
or
it told them a lot about their priorities, I guess you could say.
yes. Yes. But like, even though I'm not like excusing my actions for doing a cycle during fucking trampoline COVID era, I was still being crafty and trying to move my body. And while it was not in like the right headspace, absolutely, I own that. It was something, right?
Yeah.
So,
Did you have a coach at that time? Stop it. And they fucking knew you were doing that? Oh, oh, wow.
I'm gonna put
That
on
is
my silly glasses.
Coach of the Year award. Holy shit.
It was
Unbelievable.
fine. It was fine.
It
Like,
was fine.
it was fine. Yeah. But
We should write a book someday together. What not to do.
what not to do as a bodybuilder. I mean, like, you look back on it and like I'm just so, you know what it is? I'm so sad for that girl. I'm so sad that she was so insecure, so mentally fucked up that she just needed a hug and she needed a therapist and she needed someone to tell her that there was a different way to live
Mm.
and that it was going to be okay.
You know
But
what I
granted, that girl wouldn't have listened. She would have been like, no, fuck you, because she was so aggressive that she just wouldn't have listened.
I feel like as of recent, we're starting to see a lot of people within the industry and whatnot kind of coming out and being like, I finally healed my relationship with food, that are people that are like well beyond their competing years and
Hmm.
things like that, that like let it go and are now like bringing it back to actually caring for themselves. I feel like I'm seeing that
Yeah.
a lot lately, which is cool.
Dude, like a lot of my clients, I've been like, listen, I see what you were telling me in your check-ins. Will you please look into therapy? It is not because I think you're a pussy or a little bitch. It is because I see you in pain and I'm not qualified to help you in this realm. Like, I can be empathetic, I can understand where you're at, but I am not a therapist. I go to therapy. I work with a therapist on my perfectionism, my black and white thinking, my all or nothing mentality, the relationship issues that I have with, some my perfectionism when it comes to my exercise performance. I see you struggling too. Here are some resources, here are some books that I've read, but if you want it custom to you, much like I customize my coaching to you, a therapist will help you. And the ones that have just like heard that and gone to therapy, everything about their lives as they started to unpack this trauma, if you will, has gotten better. Not only with coaching, but their relationships, their marriage. Like they're no longer exhausted with just the internal dialogue of arguing with themselves or imagining these fake scenarios that their anxiety is telling them they need to be prepared for that never fucking come to fruition.
I don't know if this has happened for you or not, but it definitely has for me. And I would say over the last year or so, I've, for the little I've shared about my own personal, like I did more so a while back about like all my SIBO issues and
Yeah.
eating disorders and things like that. I don't really focus on myself as much with what I post about now, but it definitely did draw like early 20s or so women my direction for coaching.
Mhm.
And it kind of brought awareness to me, seeing a lot of the things that they struggle with, things that I still had a little lingering in my closet. And I feel fucked up saying this, but like helped me kind of finish out that journey towards healing, because you see it and you realize like, wow, like I don't want to be in this position. I have this choice. I don't want to be here and I'm not gonna be. And in a sense, it's almost like come full circle, because you can recognize it in somebody else. You can also know how to address it with somebody else, but that full all around of like also having it help you is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the great thing about like the human experience. Like there are things that you think you're healed from or over that when someone else kind of presents to you their problem or their struggle and it kind of like makes you take a back, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I got work to do still. And there's nothing wrong with that. But a book that I've been reading recently is called Platonics, and I'm reading it for two reasons. One, for myself to learn why I have an anxious attachment style, and two, to learn how to better understand the psychology of my clients and their different attachment styles and why they do the actions that they do, whether it is out of anxiety and insecurity or out of aggression, or maybe they had like an Eric childhood where it was leave it to Beaver, everything was hunky dory, and he's just a secure motherfucker. I love that for him though. I do. I
Oh,
genuinely
did I? And I am definitely not. So who knows?
can't fucking relate. I can't be by myself or I cry. No, it's like it's so crazy to read these stories and it all roots down to do you have friends and are you willing to be vulnerable with them? And social media has fucked that up because we have friends but they're strangers, right? Like they really, it's like parasocial relationships that aren't really real outside of like deep connections, like what you and I have, and Meg, and my other girlfriends that I have. But like everyone is so connected and so available, yet so lonely.
Yeah.
And it's so depressing. It's so
That
depressing.
that's definitely a generational thing too, not just from the fact that like we're further along, but think about how many people's jobs nowadays are work from home by
Hmm.
yourself all fucking day. Don't leave that house. That's also has negative. I'm kind of glad to see. I think that recently too, you see a lot of companies having people actually going back into office because
Mhm.
they have these long-term leases of rental spaces and things like that, that they're having people go back. This just happened to my brother. He hasn't worked in office since COVID. And now because
Wow.
they're well, it's kind of screwed him because of my niece for babysitting, but um
Yeah.
they had I don't know, it's 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is on the building sitting vacant and they can't get out of those leases, so everybody's going back.
Yeah. And like that also kind of goes back to like social media too, where it's like people might say that they're all happy and like doing great, but like I could just take a picture right now and upload it. And Ash is great. Granted, Ash is really good. She's proud of herself. She's working on herself. She has great friends. She has a great husband. Like, even though I have my struggles, my challenges, I'm very grateful. And I actually am in a good spot. But how many times do we like take a picture and like we're just fucking miserable? Or on the flip side, I'm just gonna say it and I'm not gonna apologize for it. If you're someone that is crying and uploads it to social media,
Oh God.
like an immediate unfollow. Like I'm not here for it. It's fake. It's crap. If you honest to God do not have friends that you need to cry to,
Hold on. Like,
are you serious? Like legitimately, just
yeah.
wanna but like it's to me it's sad. It's pathetic because it tells me that like you don't have anyone to actually give a fuck about you. You have to find it that validation from complete strangers online. Like that actually breaks my heart.
You know what is even worse about that? To like be in the moment, be upset about something, and be like, hold on, this can make great content. Like to actually give that little fucks about yourself.
Yeah. And granted, you could also go on the flip side. Well, I feel bad for people that want to gloat about their success, and I posted about buying my dream truck. So it's like it's back and forth, but at the same time, like I don't need validation from strangers in my truck. I already validated myself when my husband wrote the check, and I'm like driving home feeling like a big bitch in this like big ass truck, and I'm used to driving like a Laura sized car that's like a subcompact. So I'm like,
I got little man syndrome. My fucking car is I gotta jump to get into it.
dude, I do too now, right? So it's like, it's like we big bitches, we big bitches now.
Josh gets in the car with me and he's like, can you drive more safely? Jesus. And I was like, anybody near my car is getting out of the way.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, when going from a subcompact to a big fucking truck, people don't cut you off anymore.
Nope. They're getting
I'm
the
like,
fuck out of the way so they don't
I'm
get
like,
run
I'm
over.
loving this. Although I have to do a funny story. Okay, we were at the car dealer for 3 hours yesterday.
Oh God, that's
We
hilarious.
had cash. We were not financing the fucking car, and it took 3 hours to buy this motherfucker. Okay, I'm driving at home in the dark. Eric, we're doing kind of like a Smokey and the Bandit thing though, because he's like doing like the little car and leading us, and I'm like in my big bitch truck or whatever. But like it's still brand fucking new, and there are so many buttons, Laura. So many
Oh,
buttons.
you got a new car?
Yeah,
Wow.
right, it's brand new. Brand new.
Awesome.
Yeah. Like so many buttons though. And I'm like, a bug hits my windshield and it's dark. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to get this motherfucker smeared off, right? I'm like just blinding everybody with my fucking high beams. And Eric calls me. He's like, what are you doing? Are you okay? Like, are you signaling to me? Because again, he's in front of me. He's like, do we need to pull over? Are you okay? And I was like, I'm just trying to get the bug off my windshield. And I'm just like,
Sorry.
high beams.
ADD just kicked in.
It's a button. There's a button for the spray that I found out. So there's a button to
Yeah, they
spray
might like that too.
for the window wipers. But dude, I'd probably look like a silly Billy.
That's hard though. That's hard that it was dark. Honestly, I think the similar happened to me too because it took so very long at the dealership when I bought my car.
Dude,
But at the time I was driving home, and were you far from where you live?
it was like an hour and a half. So like not
Yeah,
super
about
far,
the
but
same. It's
still.
far to drive a new car and not know how anything works. All right, I'll share this with the
Ooh,
group
we get
context.
it
But
exclusive.
the other day when I was driving with Josh, he made a comment because like I went to like switch lanes or whatever, and he's like, "How did you not see that?" And like we were totally fine. It was not near anything. He was just being overprotective. And I was like, "Well, how am I supposed to do that? I have a fucking blind spot." And he's like, "Don't you see that little part in your mirror that's another mirror on the bottom of it?" And I was like, "What do you mean? No?" Like
Bless your heart.
he's like, "That's where your blind spots." And I'm like, I'm just a girl. Like,
That is actually hilarious. My truck has that too now. I am like blown away though by the visibility because again, like the little car that we have, I cannot express enough how it is so little and efficient, and I love it. But
What
going,
did you have before?
I still have it. It's a Toyota Yaris IA.
Were you guys sharing a car?
Yeah, we were a one car family for
Oh,
three
wow.
years.
Life
Yeah,
has just changed for you.
you're telling me, right? And going from this little clown car to like a big bitch truck, I'm level with semis now, and I'm like,
I could not imagine not having my own car because I am such a with the wind type of person. Like Josh and I will go to the same place and I'll meet you there. See you there. See you
yeah,
there.
dude, the wind blew, and it's like the wind can blow and shit ain't happening.
Yep, I'm out. See ya. That's funny.
Yeah. But yes, I'm excited to have to be a two-car family.
You know what? That just, I don't know. This just this would be a good episode when Meg is back. The three of us to do like the good, bad, and the ugly of bodybuilding. Like kind of hit all aspects of that.
Yeah, like what are you thinking about?
Personal experiences that like maybe people don't necessarily talk about, whether it's with like PEDs or mental health,
Hmm.
things, stuff like that, how it's affect your relationships, even your business, work ethic, all those type of things, like, and also how it's helped you grow.
Like skeletons in the closet.
Hmm.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, we should put up the questions on that too before we do it.
Yeah,
That would be good.
I like that. I like that. But yeah, it still just goes off back to social media. I know we kind of had a little tangent there about big bitch trucks.
Hmm.
But it's like there's one thing to post because you are proud, and there's another thing to post when you are searching. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just the intention behind it. It's like, are you doing this because you have validated yourself and your hard work outside of like content creation to answer people's questions, help people, whatever. I just mean like posting on social media because again, you are proud of what you have done, you're proud of what you created, whether it's a life goal, a business adventure, your physique, or are you posting to rake in
Hmm.
the validation that you were not getting from people that you are genuine friends with, like husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, like genuine best friends, right? Like the people that gave a fuck about me, like they not only yes commented and liked my truck photo, they texted me, right? They reached out to me being like, "Hey, I'm so fucking proud of you." And that meant everything in the world. And even though Daddy John Jewett like said congratulations, with yes, I did pin that comment, like like you said congratulations. My friend Jess reached out, my friend Ash reached out, like my mom and dad reached, like everyone that knew that I was so excited about this like financial purchase, they reached out directly to me. And that meant so much more than like the 200 likes on Instagram because those are the people that I know love me. So Laura, thank you because I know you love me.
Yes, I do. But I mean, John Drew probably kind of makes a little bit of more.
Bro, he could not even afford an exclamation point. He just said congratulations. No
Yeah,
period, no
I take
explanation
it.
point.
I
Not
take
even
it.
like a hand clap emoji, just congrats.
I just want an emoji. That's
I was
it.
like, just give me something, Daddy John, but no,
You're
just
like free entry to all of your tutorials.
that's right. I mean, Brent, I think I've already paid for him anyway, but come on, Daddy John.
Mhm.
You can afford a
Have you done all of them already? Really?
I probably haven't done like the most new ones, just I don't know.
Hmm.
Like at some
Okay.
point, I don't know, you have to like education is great. I'm not like docking that whatsoever, but at some point you just gotta like do that anecdotal stuff too. You know what I'm saying?
I've taken a honest little break from doing all the courses
Mhm.
and mentorships and all of that. And I actually did reach out to Austin of probably starting back up with him.
Do the group if you're not.
Bring I can't because and that's how that whole conversation happened because of the times and days that he does it.
Mm,
It doesn't mesh well with my work schedule. And he's like, well, you can
got
always
it.
watch it back. I'm like, that doesn't help me if I have to watch all of them back and can't participate
Mm,
because I'm usually at work when he's doing them.
yeah. The group
Um,
membership is nice though. It's a nice
I
variety.
would that's what I would love to do because
Yeah.
like also like I felt like with me for the last time and it'll be a little different this time around when I mentored with him I didn't have the clients to support the discussions.
Yeah.
So I didn't also not only did I not have anything to have him help me with, I didn't even know what to ask in like what to feel I needed assistance with until I needed assistance and it was at a different time.
Dude, that's the thing with all these like mentorships and stuff like that. It's like when you are either completely newer or maybe just you don't have a lot on your roster, you like literally don't know what you don't know. And so
Mm-mm.
it's like when situations don't come up or whatever, you're just kind of like sitting there with like your dick in your hand, being like, what do I do?
Yeah. And it's really hard to not have a real life scenario to understand how certain things go down. Like even when, before we did like a mock peak and things like that,
Mhm.
like if I hadn't actually been through it, I hadn't like even when he was telling me it didn't make sense
Yeah.
because like, I hadn't had the experience.
Yep.
So
And plus, like, you have no idea about like the athlete too. And like that's such a big thing with photos,
exactly.
psychology. I will say the best investment I've made recently with my coaching is psychology. It is understanding like and asking like different questions in different ways and also delivery. Like
Mhm.
how I deliver feedback to specific clients. Some can be more blunt and direct. Some beat around the bush, but not because like they're little bitches, but because like how they receive something just needs to be curated toward them. And that's nothing wrong, but I think a big part of like coaching when you were talking about personalization and customization is yes, they're protocols as unique to them, but honest to God, how you coach the person and how
For
you
sure.
speak to them. And I feel like that's something that like people don't realize until you go away from like a big team with all these fucking spreadsheets and you
But
work
don't
with
have
someone.
time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're getting more attention and you're like, oh, they actually take into consideration that I'm a mom of 5 kids or that I'm in the nuclear navy. Like they actually see the person and not just like a number. You know what I'm saying? I have been on a team where I felt like a fucking number and it reflected in how I was coached and also my progress.
Mm. Yeah, it's been interesting, and especially the further I've gotten into coaching the last like year or so, being on my own and whatnot, is like clients that even seem similar as far as like goals, physiques, even work ethic will have different needs from even how you talk to them, how
Mhm.
you approach conflict, how you approach positive things. Like I have some clients that if they do good, I can't even congratulate them and like praise their good work because that's okay to go fuck off. And then I have other clients that anything negative is like being picked on. So we always do a compliment sandwich and kind of give good and bad as needed. You don't know that until you get to learn the person.
I think that's so important as well. And that's the thing is it just takes time. It takes time to learn the athlete. And honestly, on my questionnaire though, I will ask about communication styles. I'll be like what how do you respond best to feedback? Is it more blunt and direct? Is it more like empathy? Like tell me how I can communicate with you because like that is so important in the buy-in process because like we are all doing very similar things. We all need 7 to 8 hours of sleep. We all need to be drinking water. We all need to be using salt. Like there are things that like we all will have very, very similar on a basis, but it is the confinements of your schedule and your goals that will kind of like fiddle all the dials on all the buttons on your new truck. You know what I'm saying? Like that is so important to realize.
Mhm. And I think a lot of times too, and this goes not even just for coaching relationships, relationships in general, a lot of the times the way that something is perceived or someone reacts is heightened from other things.
Mhm.
And if you don't take the time to kind of get to know the person besides just what you eat and how you work out, to know the other things,
Mhm.
it doesn't always coincide well.
Exactly. A big thing in having, I think, more successful athletes is building up their trust in you and respect in you enough for them to be vulnerable. Because once you get in that vulnerability, you can really see like the skeletons in the closet and then be like, oh, you're really struggling in this way. Definitely therapy will help you. These books will help you. And when you have that extra support, you get more out of their physique too. And I
Mhm.
think that's also really awesome, especially when it's like their willingness to follow their programming, to follow their protocols. Like to going from I have to do this because I have a goal to I want to do this. This is my goal. That is like to me, that is so monumental. I know that was monumental for myself too.
For sure. For sure. The way that you perceive things is going to make the experience all the difference.
Yeah, like when I stopped seeking external validation from my coach and like learned to just be proud and like when I go to the gym, I get to be there. Like
Mm.
I'm doing the thing that I want to do for myself. And like that is super powerful and motivating. And even if it's like not the best days, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, like I'm still there by choice. And it's a blessing. Like it honest to God is.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I think that a little bit too in that specific scenario that you were in is the culture of the coaching atmosphere with that. Like it's very clicky, very highlighted. So I can understand also wanting that from that more so than just to be successful for yourself.
Yeah, that's something where it's like I feel like maybe if you had a sorority or fraternity growing up, you really liked that community. And I didn't have that, but
Mm.
still, like when I was a part of like a more of a bigger team culture, like you can see the favoritism, you can see like, kind of gross stuff behind the scenes, but still, it's just like at the end of the day, if it's clouding your service or you don't feel like you are being serviced, because again, you are paying for a good slash service with your money, like that's an issue, which is like a kind of a whole nother conversation and topic, but still.
Yeah. Do you want to go into what you had initially brought up a little bit since we have some time?
What was
Just
what did I
the
bring up?
holiday eating and all that?
Yeah, I think I was talking to Eric about it and just like thanking him for like supporting me in all of my many eating disorder eras and arcs when it came through like the holidays. But like honestly, like having someone that I could just be vulnerable with for me for the holidays was just so paramount. I don't know if you can relate to that at all, but like having someone that kind of like knows your dirty little secret, being like, hey, I still get fucked up by food, like that made me feel better. And that was how the holidays, although challenging and difficult, like I was able to kind of like not get over it, but like get through it and then have it no longer be an issue because now it's like I look forward to the holidays because I realize it's about the family. And if you have food traditions, great, I will partake in them. But I don't feel like a slave to it anymore. I don't feel like a slave to my eating disorders. I'm just me. Like, does that make any sense? Like I just feel like myself.
I can relate to that in the sense that, I mean, a little different, not necessarily, I don't feel like it's disordered, but I used to feel really uncomfortable if I was, when I was like dating and things like that, to be ordering things specific
Hmm.
ways and people kind of being like, oh, don't you know how to have fun? Or like, why aren't you drinking? Or how about we get a burger? And like, because I genuinely don't want it. And
Hmm.
I would say the last two, Josh being one, and relationships I've had have both been very understanding, never gave me shit about it, never made me feel uncomfortable or like I was an outsider or there was
Hmm.
something wrong with me. And I've definitely had relationships in the past that did make me feel like that. And that caused a huge disconnect between the two of us. So that sucked. And I
Yeah.
think that from like a holiday stance, my family knows the kinds of foods I eat
Yeah.
and like also kind of has a little bit of everything. So we've kind of adapted to not just doing candied sweet potatoes, we got regular sweet potatoes too. And everybody doesn't can't turkey's turkey, so sure. But like
Turkey.
my brother and I are so polar opposite with foods. Like my brother's the type of person that'll eat Chinese food, order it, and eat it every meal of the day until it's gone. Uh, and
That's the Ash Markham like
is a
turkey.
stick though, and he's been a
Oh,
stick his whole fucking life. I don't know why we have different genetics, but we do. And
dude, that's crazy. I actually I there's one thing I don't envy, and that is dating as a bodybuilder or dating even if you had like relationships with food that were not great. And granted, I was probably the most fucked up when I was dating Eric when it came to food. But like eventually, like once we got comfortable enough together and further along in our relationship where I could actually like see a future together, like this was not like, in the high school or even early college. This is like when we were like moved in together playing house where I was like, hey, I'm not okay. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really hard to like want to admit that like something like food like fucks you up mentally because like you feel like so alone. You feel like you're the only person that struggles with this because you're at the dining hall and people just have their trays of food and it's no big thing, but like you have to give yourself a fucking pep talk before you enter into that war zone because just being surrounded by all that food can be, difficult when you have those issues.
totally. I mean, I remember having a conversation with my dad after like having a really bad breakup, being treated poorly,
Hmm.
and like having a history of dating shitheads and being like, but I don't deserve to date someone that is going to treat me X, Y, and Z because I come with so much baggage because of my eating disorder. I remember the conversation clear as day. I was like 21 years old and being like, I don't deserve somebody better.
Hmm.
And not understanding that, first off, everyone in the fucking world comes with some type of baggage.
Oh yeah.
Whether are you open and honest about it? Are you actively working towards improving? Like, where are you at with your, journey?
Yeah.
That's really what's more important.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I learned is like in order for you to like you have to like be willing to trust in the other person to be vulnerable. So that way like you can like actually divulge that you are struggling with this and that you are ashamed with it. But then also like how they receive that can make or break that relationship and
For
also
sure.
like your head mentally because obviously if it's like I divulged that I have like an issue with my food when we were like dating or whatever and he was like get the if he were to be like get the fuck over it like that's weird like it's just food that would have been the end of that relationship. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because like I could not feel safe with him. But like for him, for it was like, I am so sorry. I have seen that you have struggled with this, but I wasn't sure how to bring it up. And he was like, thank you for sharing. How can I support you? And of course, at the time, I'm like, I don't fucking know. But like looking back on it, even though we had no idea how to like work through it together, we communicated. And that's how like I was able to get the help that I needed, with therapy and, having friends that also went through it and having kind of like, hate to call it trauma bonding, but like just to know that it wasn't just a me problem, like that
Mhm.
helped me to see that it's also overcomable because there are plenty of other women and girls that suffered through the exact same thing that I suffered through. That while yes, they might have like little things that pop up every now and then, it doesn't ruin their life like how it
Mhm.
was ruining mine, how I was ruining my life.
Yeah, I had actually mentioned that the end of our last podcast about like conversations, which would fame would you rather have? And I think that's probably one of the best takeaways from social media is making you feel not alone when it is something negative and seeing that there's other people that have overcome obstacles that you may currently be in
Yeah.
and avenues for help and all of those type of things. Because the same type of thing, I remember thinking I was the only one in the fucking world that
Yep.
could be having the thoughts and feelings and struggles that I was, and
Hmm.
especially coming from a family that like was Pleasantville and had no idea why or how or what to do with me
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, I think social media can literally be a double-edged sword depending upon, again, the intention behind it. Either it can show you that you are not alone in like your struggles, which can be very comforting, especially when you see people who are on the other side of whatever it is that you're struggling with. But then on the same side, if you're using it as a tool for comparison, like mirror, mirror on the wall type of stuff, or using it to get external validation from strangers to make yourself feel better, it's like again, it is a tool, much like tracking macros or whatever else that can be abused and used incorrectly. And it really does come down to your own state of mind and your own intentions behind like why you're using social media. And for us as coaches, there is a personal aspect, there is highlighting our athletes, and there's also like helping people with their problems through content generation. But as coaches as well, we can also struggle with comparing our success to other people's success, being like, oh, we're not enough, our clients aren't enough. And it can be very degrading, but at the end of the day, it's like when you kind of give yourself a reality check and being like, they're only posting what they want me to see, and I'm only posting what I want people to see, it's like, well, there's more to the story. But I don't need to know their story. I just need to know mine.
For sure. I
But of
definitely
course,
feel like
if you have a BBL though and you're selling booty programs, you're a piece of shit.
not even a BBL selling booty program, well, that too, but BBL selling booty programs and also marketing how snatched their stomach is. No fucking shit, your stomach got liposuction. I'm done. That's it.
Ugh.
In context, I was telling Ash about this earlier today with why my subject choice was what it was from a in-person experience. But
Yeah, don't
anyway,
let social media and online presentation take you away from like what's going on IRL. Like
in
put down
the
your phone.
the thing that makes me kind of like laugh and chuckle and like, especially in like the bodybuilding world with this, is if you're a competitor and you're, you know, changing your photos or only getting good angles or showing, only your good aspects of things like. your ass is getting on stage. You can't out angle that or whatever the case may be.
Laura's like, you can't hide.
Literally, you can't. Like, there's another person I can think of that I know that puts up photos and you're like, fuck, wow, you look amazing. And then I see the same person in real life. I'm like, you ain't shit. Good luck.
It's
So,
like literally having that extra mobility is like, damn. But
yeah.
I think it was pretty good. I think it was good, just kind of like a mixed bag of shit. I mean, like we were just talking shit, just talk shit. Um, what is your favorite like group activity or maybe even like you and Josh activity that's not going to the gym? So for example, you're gonna have a date and you're like, oh, let's go bowling or let's go mini golf. Like what's your cup of tea there?
We do like golfing. We like going to the golfing range.
You like actual golfing range.
Yeah.
Not like mini
Not,
golf. Like you're getting a
yeah.
driver and you're hitting a bitch.
Oh, I'm awful, but it's hilarious. And I have fun with it because
Oh, I
he's
never
good.
would have
He
guessed
likes
that.
it. What's that?
I never would have guessed that from you. I love that.
Yeah, no, I just lang and bang them and hope that there's the thing with golf that's so frustrating is you'll hit one and it'll fucking fly. And then I'll do the exact same swing, exact same thing, and it just goes boop. Like it doesn't go anywhere. So it's like, why?
That is hilarious, dude. I hate golf. I hate golf so much. I will mini golf because usually like friends like to go mini golfing for whatever fucking reason. I hate it, but I'll be a good sport because I like seeing friends. My favorite, I have two. Either I like throwing axes.
Huh, I've never done that.
Oh, it's fun. Like it's kind of hard. There is a learning curve to it, but like there's just something about yeeting an axe against a wall that's just like it's so freeing. I think Eric and I are actually gonna go throw axes after this because he's off this week.
Is
Uh,
there any like
yeah, they're kind of like in their own lanes.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, and you wear
Safety nets? That was what I was getting at. So when you
not there.
hit
It's like it's
somebody.
more like a corral, so like they have like safety walls, kind
Okay.
of. It's like kind of like you have bumper bowling lanes. Well, it's like
Okay.
there's like siding, so therefore there's
Got
not
it.
like crossfire. That would be insane.
I'd be that person that thinks they're throwing straight and going far right. So
No, I love that. I also love playing billiards, like
Huh,
pool. I
okay.
love that. It's so much fun. I'm not really good at it, but like it's just so satisfying. Just to,
We used to do that a lot in college. I haven't been since then, but and it wasn't any good then either, but it is fun to go.
yeah, it's not. You know what? At the end of the day, like it's okay to suck at something. It really
Oh, yeah.
is, especially because it's just like I'm not doing it for billiards championship, right? Like I don't play pool like I bodybuild. Like that's a
That
different.
is the only sport other than gymnastics I have ever been any good at. Anything that requires hand-eye coordination, like don't pick me for your team. I'll tell you right now. Like, leave me on the sideline.
Or it's like I will cheerlead for you.
Unless you just want a good laugh, then pick me.
That's hilarious. No, we'll have to go do something while we're in town together. That'd be a lot of fun. But like,
Definitely.
yeah, it's just don't let social media be your entire life. I think would be a good note to wrap on. Like again, like if you have people that you genuinely like to follow because they're authentic, I mean, continue to do that, right? But post for the right reasons. Don't get caught up in numbers. Don't get caught up in likes and shares and stuff like that. Like if you genuinely believe what you are doing is good, just keep doing it.
For sure.
Have fun with it.
People will know that. People will be able to tell and see that too. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
all right, that's a wrap. Meg, we missed you. Till next time.
Yes, till next time, guys. Laura, I love you. Thankful you're in my
You.
life. Have a good rest of your, what is it, Thursday? And
Perfect.
I'll see you soon.
Go get some off riding over there.
That's right. All
Bye.
right, see ya. Bye.